Hi! My name's Hannah. I'm an online English tutor and doctor from England. Today I want to talk about the changes that are coming in to the marking scheme of the writing section of the occupational English test. I'm going to be talking about the three main changes to the mark scheme that are coming in from the 31st of August 2019 and how you can utilize these three key changes to plan your revision and get good marks if you're taking the test after the 31st of August. Firstly, it's important to clarify that the writing test itself is not changing. The format remains that you'll receive case notes and will have 5 minutes to read them and then 40 minutes to write a letter. What is changing is how you're awarded marks for that letter. And according to the OET, this is due to feedback the OET received from healthcare professionals about what was important for them in letter writing skills for their future colleagues. So let's have a look at the mark schemes. First, I'll show you how to find the mark schemes. This is the OET official website. You just need to go to Test Information and Writing. We then get the options of whether we want the information for before the 31st of August or after the 31st of August. If we click on after the 31st of August for the new mark scheme, we scroll down and under How is Writing Ability Assessed in the OET, we just hit Download. And here we have the new mark scheme. Firstly, I would just like to quickly compare it to the old mark scheme. So the prior to August the 31st, we have a mark scheme that looks like this. And we have 6 points available for each of 5 categories: overall task fulfillment, appropriateness of language, comprehension of stimulus, linguistic features, and presentation features. This brings us to a total of 30 points which are available. Now these points are then processed and will give you a score out of 500, where 350 is considered a B. Looking over to the new mark scheme, we can see it looks a little bit different. We have 3 marks or points available under the category of purpose, and then 7 marks available under 5 different categories labeled content, conciseness and clarity, genre and style, organization and layout, and language. Now this brings us to the first big difference, the first big change between the new and the old mark schemes. And that is the number of points available for language. Looking back at the previous mark scheme, we can see that there are 6 points available for each of linguistic features, which is to do with grammar, and presentation features, which is a lot to do with spelling and punctuation. These can be considered the technical aspects of English, what you would have learned in school when you're studying the English language. Now, in the new mark scheme, both of these points are essentially moved into one category of language. As we can see, this is talking about spelling, vocabulary, grammar, sentence structure. Therefore, in the new mark scheme, there are only 7 points out of 38 dedicated to these technical aspects of English, as opposed to, in the old mark scheme, 12 points out of 30. Therefore, in the old version, nearly half the marks available to you were for grammar and other technical aspects of English, whereas in the new version, that is much, much less. This means when it comes to your preparation for the test, you need to put less emphasis on your grammar and spelling and more emphasis on these other categories. And just to go through these other categories, I'm going to come back to purpose in a second. The content means that you need to be including all of the relevant information from the case notes. So you're not missing any important aspects of the case notes. Conciseness and clarity is arguably the opposite. You're not using loads of words to just regurgitate the case notes. You are summarizing effectively and you're not including any irrelevant information. So this involves a lot of understanding of the case notes and where marks previously would have been given for comprehension of stimulus. Genre and style is making sure that you're writing using appropriate language for the intended reader. Therefore, your writing always should be professional and it should be polite, but you're taking into account where your reader is coming from. If you're writing to a lay person or a social worker, for example, you shouldn't be including very technical jargon. Then organization and layout. This is about providing a logical structure to your letter. It's in clear paragraphs and it's very clear the purpose of each paragraph so that it reads logically. Now to come on to the second key change, the addition of the category purpose. This is where up to 3 marks can be awarded to you for making the purpose of your document immediately apparent. These marks can be really easy by just ensuring in the first paragraph you have made it very explicit why you're writing to that person and what action you would like them to do. Be that you are referring a patient or you are discharging a patient back to their care, for example. If you make that very clear, you've got 3 marks in the bag. And now on to the third key change. And this is the removal of the requirement of what I refer to with my students as fancy language. If we look back on the old mark scheme, we can see that many of the marks for linguistic features come from using a wide range of grammatical structures and for using appropriate cohesive devices. Now, to me, what these 2 areas mean are showing off that you can use a lot of complex grammar, that you're not just using simple grammar and simple sentences, and that you can use a lot of words that you may have memorized if you've revised for any other sort of English test, such as furthermore, nevertheless, moreover, including vocabulary that is designed for essays, essentially. And how I interpret the new mark scheme is that the language you use does need to be accurate and it shouldn't interfere with the meaning, but you don't need to use any fancy grammar for the sake of it. And that's really important. It means you can stop focusing on your revision on trying to use a wide range of grammar and instead focus on the actual overall meaning of your work and just make sure that you're not making any mistakes in your grammar. I think this is a really positive move for the OET because it's marking you based on whether you will be able to do your job in English and write a letter that can be read and understood succinctly by the reader instead of writing a letter to prove that you know a lot of grammar. So those are what I think are the 3 most important changes coming in after August 2019. There is reduced emphasis on language and increased emphasis on the other aspects of letter writing. There are additional marks available for making the purpose of your letter very clear. Finally, there is the removal of the need to show off any fancy language skills. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comments if there's anything else you would like me to cover, and please subscribe for more videos about medical English and the occupational English test. Thanks very much. Bye.